chopping leaves not a single doubt, and everything is in full swing when you hear somebody shout. This door is jumping, it's really jumping. Come in packs and check your hats. I mean, this door is jumping.
FST was founded in 1973 by John Spellman. The Women's Club came into the picture probably around 76, I'm gonna guess, maybe 77. That was going to be torn down and turned into a parking lot. And John saw it and knew that there was a ballroom inside and that he could use that as a rehearsal hall. So when I arrived, what is now the theater had been used mostly as a rehearsal hall, and they had built some tiers and put in 72 very large, squeaky chairs. And we had an operating budget of $140,000 when I was hired. And we produced 6 shows and sold a subscription for $18 for all 6 shows. So that's about $3 a piece. We wanted to make it affordable. It took time for that philosophy and that policy to mature and grow to mean as much as it does today, because affordability and accessibility is a really big deal today. And during the recession, we gained 2,000 new subscribers because it was affordable. You didn't have to be a rich person to go to the theater, that anybody could come. A very large portion, like 30–40% of our audience, they can't afford to go to most theater, but they can afford to come to us, and we're doing great theater, and I think it makes for great theater because you have a more diverse audience. Accessibility, on the other hand, means something else. And when I came, we didn't have a wheelchair ramp. Somebody who was handicapped or needed help, had trouble getting into the theater, the first thing we did was get a bunch of plywood, and we literally built a wheelchair ramp so that people could get into the theater. Today it means so much more. It means, can I understand it? Accessible in thought? Does it represent the world that I live in? Accessible in ethnicity? Are there people like me on the stage? Or are they all white people? Are there brown people too? Are there black people too? Are there Asian people too? So we really have worked hard at making the theater accessible, and that means very diverse. And I think the beauty of diversity in theater is that it's balanced by the homogeneous nature of theater. We come together as humanity. That's the kind of play at its most basic that we're looking for, whether it's a small cast or a large cast. And then there's another thing that appeals to me particularly, and that is minimalism. The less you put on stage, the more the audience uses their imagination. The less you put on stage, the more impactful the word. And then theatricalism is important to me.
Realize how it sounds.
As if you could ever be an earl. 8 people would have to die for that to happen. How likely is that?
I am standing here with poison in my pocket, one eye on the target, one eye on the clock. It better happen soon before I lose my nerve and run. If I'd had a knife, I could have grabbed him, then discreetly knocked him on the head and stabbed him, not to mention what I would have done if I had had a gun.
We're the largest subscription theater in the state of Florida. The reason we started subscriptions was we wanted the same audience to come back and see the next play, and then to come back and see the next play. If you're a subscriber, you get to see the stuff that you like, but you're also going to see stuff that might challenge you a little bit or jangle your thinking a little bit. But then that grows you as an audience member, that grows you as a person, and if the audience grows, the art grows. And if the art grows, the audience grows, and we're constantly challenging each other back and forth. The main stage is our core program. It's the backbone of the theater. It's what we started with, and it appeals to a very, very broad audience. The cabaret has this larger following, more popular following, because we tend to do mostly musical work, and we do contemporary music, so that we're doing musical reviews of the lyric poets of our age. Stage 3 is the most challenging, appeals to a more seasoned theater goer. And those are the 3 primary venues that we have. But in addition to that, we have a big education program, which is after school and summer camp programming on property here at Florida Studio Theater, playing to hundreds of youngsters and adults. So the theater school plays for everything from acting to playwriting for adults to puppetry and singing and dance for children. And then we have Write a Play in the schools. That plays to about 45,000 people a year now, and inspires playwriting and teaches playwriting. And the 6th leg of our theater is new play development. And that's the equivalent of research and development in a big corporation. Our intent was simply to serve an audience and to do the best art we possibly could. We speak to the audience. I think that's what makes us stand out. We are accessible. They understand what we're saying, that we're interested in things that they're interested in. We're creating extraordinary material here. We're finally, I think, realizing that we just have to tell other people about it.